Hello, my beautiful African people. Welcome back to Hail and Ride YouTube channel. I'm your brother Don Muta. Today, we are looking at anti-French sentiment in the African colonies in Africa. The rise of anti-French sentiments in French-speaking African countries, or you can call it, or as they call it, anti-Western sentiment on the rise in Africa. But I don't think you can bracket West. You can say it's anti-Western sentiment going on in Africa. I think what's going on in Africa is anti-French sentiments on the rise. And everyone knows the reason why there's the rise. But anytime you see the mainstream media, one of their European countries are in trouble, and they always generalize it to make it as Europe or the whole West is attacked, but in Africa, but it's not true. But that's what they want you to believe. They want you to believe that there is a rising trend about Africans, not liking the Western people. That's not true. This program is just for the French-speaking Africans. That's where we see this so-called conflict involved, because when you talk to Francophone Africans, Africans that were colonized by French or Belgium, all these French-speaking countries, they always say that they had the worst kind of colonial masters. I used to argue with my friend about Anglo, those that Francophone and Anglophone countries in Africa. Anglophone countries are the one colonized by Britain, and Francophone are the one colonized by French. I used to argue with my friend. He always say that the worst colonial master was French. That's his own perspective. See, because the way they treat their colony, the people they colonize, they treat them so bad. And I started to believe this, because you look at now what the former colonies of French are doing to them. They're telling them to leave their country. Because and when you read about the way they have been treating these people, was terrible. It was terrible the way they were treating them. I'm not giving pass to any colonial masters, because we know that all of them treated Africa like shit. They treated Africans really very bad. That if we should treat them the way they treated us, none of them will be in Africa. None of the descendants, because most of the time, they say, oh, it's our forefathers that did this. They have no part in that. But even if, let's go with that, they are still acting, some of them are still acting like their forefathers. So there's no difference. But this sentiment, they said, is an anti-Western sentiment. It's not true. It's anti-French sentiment that I think is true. And these people doing it, they're in their own right to demand that France or Belgium, as the case may be in Congo, recently they are demanding that they leave Congo DR, demanding the French people that lives in Congo now, they leave their country for them, because they say they are causing trouble. They are sponsoring those rebels, as they call them. But I don't have so much information about this conflict in Congo, like about the rebels, because I'm not I'm not always in a hurry to tag, take side in any conflict, but even to tag any person rebel, because we have seen it before. Once you disagree with these colonial masters, they tag you rebels, to blackmail you and make sure that the international community see you as a monster, as someone that doesn't like peace, just because you don't like the way they're treating your people. That's why anytime they say there's some rebel or terrorist somewhere, if the mainstream media are saying that, I don't buy that all the time. Now, but there was a time of ignorance. Just like many Africans are still ignorant when they see something in mainstream media. Oh, these people are rebels, but they might have something they're fighting for, which is they're supposed to fight for. Because if you don't fight for something, you're not gonna get it. I know most of the time the democracy we have in Africa have not gotten to a point that people come to the table and they sort things out. Sometimes people want to go use force to get what they want. And they justify their force, the use of their force. So I don't blame them. As long as they are fighting for what is right, or their own right, and they are not going against innocent people, as the worst case. If they start, going against innocent people and doing them harms. But if they are fighting for their own right, don't happen with that. So the anti-Western sentiments they claim to have to be on the rise in Africa is not true. What is on the rise in Africa is not even anti-French. They just want French people to leave their country for them. This is their country. It's not French doesn't own their country. That they colonize them doesn't mean that you own their country. But that's what we see with France, because you look at the Cameroon, for instance. Their central bank is in France. They don't even have central bank in Cameroon, as I heard. Or maybe they have it now. I don't know. Someone can correct me on that. So, and I think the same with the other colonies of France. They take charge of their money or their natural resources, and they see that you are using their natural resources. You have a 24-hour power supply in France. Light doesn't go off, but you go to those African countries, there's no power. In most cases, so they are doing load sharing, like they're sharing power. It shouldn't be so. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our videos. Peace.